President's name is dragged into the Senate hearing on the reassignment of Superintendent Marvin Marcos and his men who killed former Albuera Leyte Mayor Rolando Espinosa. In the last hearing the issue, the Senate believed there was premeditated killing. Now senators fear the back-to-work duty for Marcos and his men will have an impact on the morale of law enforcers and prosecutors. Let's speak to our Cecil Lardizabal live from the Senate. Cecil, how was the President's name dragged into all this?
Well, Pia, the order to reinstate Superintendent Marvin Marcos is such a very sensitive issue and a potentially controversial one that only a highly placed official can do such a move. Remember, the original charge of murder has been downgraded to homicide, and so senators were focused their questioning on the discretionary powers of the commander-in-chief, especially on police officers who are suspended, and worse, those who found to have conspired to kill. Justice Undersecretary Reynante Orceo stresses the president did not intervene when the Department of Justice downgraded Superintendent Marvin Marcos's murder charges to homicide. The Internal Affairs Service of the PNP, the National Bureau of Investigation, and the panel of prosecutors from the DOJ are one in saying Marcos and his men committed murder in the killing of Albuera Mayor Rolando Espinosa in November last year. The Senate even concluded the killing was premeditated. Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre himself agreed during a Senate probe then that Marcos and his men indeed murdered Espinosa. But Orceo changed the recommendation of murder charges to homicide.
At wala naman nagdagdag na ebidensya pag-file ng petition for review. Bakit na iba yung findings ninyo?
Actually, Your Honor, it's about appreciation of evidence and facts, Your Honor. There's no additional evidence.
So the same set of evidence, the same facts, the same set of witnesses, iba yung appreciation mo.
Yes, Your Honor.
Sa appreciation ng Senate, sa appreciation ng NBI, sa appreciation ng panel of prosecutors.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Orceo insists no one influenced him in his decision.
Maniniwala ba kayo na ang ginawa ni Orceo ay walang basbas ng kanyang sekretaryo?
Marcos has now been assigned to head the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group in Region 12, while some of his co-conspirators were ordered back to CIDG Region 8, their former unit. The PNP chief couldn't help but say it was his boss who ordered him to reassign Marcos, which he later admits as something out of normal procedure.
Yung reinstate ba naman ninyo na OIC pa rin doon ng CIDG? Ano ba naman yun? Wala na kayong ibang makuha?
Your Honor, I am trained to follow orders, Your Honor.
So who gave you the orders to reinstate him in that particular position?
The President always intimated to me whenever we talk. He said that kung pwede nang patrabahuin yung mga tao niyan, kung wala nang nagbabar sa'yo, patrabahuin mo na yan. Kasi sayang sumusweldo yung mga tao na yan, yung pera ng gobyerno, sweldo nila, tapos wala silang ginagawa.
The PNP chief could only defer to the president if this case will lower the morale of the police.
Well, you better ask the President. Anong wisdom niya dyan?
After the hearing, Senate Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs Chair Panfilo Lacson and Senate Minority Leader Franklin Trilon are convinced there's a cover-up to allow Marcos to return to work.
Very loud yung signal and then ganito yung nangyari. So we have all the reason to suspect na parang kinakadel masyado si Marcos dito.
Ginawa natin lahat ng mga proseso. Kung cover up magsabihin, siguro kung from the start hindi natin pinapapile yung kaso, baka may cover up.
Senator Lacson was also telling us that he suspects that Superintendent Marvin Marcos is up for promotion because he was reassigned to CIDG Region 12, but this was immediately denied by General De La Rosa. And so Senator Lacson will set another hearing to conduct this investigation. Right now, we have no date yet, but definitely they're going to invite Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre, who failed to attend today's hearing. Pia.
Yeah, so Cecil, why was the Justice Secretary not around?
Well, we were told by Undersecretary Orseo that the Justice Secretary had a commitment in Bulacan. But of course, definitely, we were told by the senators that during the next hearing, they will see to it that the Justice Secretary will be around to shed light on more of the issues, especially on allegations that he said, that we're told that he tried to tell his Undersecretary to do so. Pia.
Cecil Lardizalba reporting from the Senate. Albuera Leyte Mayor Rolando Espinosa was arrested and jailed October of 2016 in the town of Baybay because of illegal drug possession charges. After a month, the team of Superintendent Marvin Marcos raided Mayor Espinosa's cell in Baybay in that jail to serve a search warrant. Marcos's camp claims Espinosa opened fire at them, prompting them to shoot him and another inmate, Raul Yap. Senators believe there was a cover-up in the reinstatement of Superintendent Marvin Marcos and his men who killed former Albuera Leyte Mayor Rolando Espinosa. Marcos now heads the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group in Region 12, while some of his men were ordered to return to CIDG Region 8, their former unit. During the Senate hearing, Justice Undersecretary Reynante Orseo said the president did not intervene when the Department of Justice downgraded Marcos's murder case to homicide, but PNP Chief Ronald De La Rosa admits the president ordered him to reassign Marcos, which he later on admitted as something out of normal procedure. Well, let's go above and beyond the headlines with Senator Dick Gordon. Good evening, Senator. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Pia. Good evening.
Senator Gordon, what do you think of the explanations of Chief PNP Ronald De La Rosa about the reassignment or the assignment given to Superintendent Marcos in CIDG Region 12?
The explanations of these people from the Department of Justice and from the police and from the ES, they're all limp. They don't have a legal leg to stand on, and apparently they did it to please the president. The president did not have anything to do, did not order them, but they could have told the president that they were going to file the case, bring it to the court, and they had enough evidence, as was pointed out during the investigation again today, where no less than the ES chairman said that he was a conspiracy, and there was a willing conspiracy to do a killing, which in my book is murder. And then they had all the other evidence that said that, they even brought a bolt cutter after, according to them, the guard broke the key inside the lock. So they were all prepared. 19 of them came over there at night, and at 2:35, or rather 3:35, they had already called Soko even before the murders happened. So they were pretty sure that somebody was going to die. And when they got in, they made the policeman kneel down and, made them go out later on, and then they emptied the cells and then shot the two. So that sounds like to me like it's a premeditated, and that was admitted by no less than the chairman of the ES.
And so you're saying that they didn't have, Justice Department prosecutors did not have to downgrade the case from murder to homicide, that they could have won that case?
They had the duty to file the case for murder because all the evidence was there, abuse of superior strength, premeditation, there was treachery. There were two of them, and they emptied the cell, and then they shot them like goldfish in a bowl. So it's very, very clear. And besides, when you look at the preceding situation, there were two other cases the previous month that involved the same modus operandi. A spurious search warrant is offered in a jail where you don't need it, and then they go in there and shoot the prisoners. So it is very clear that these guys are fooling around and playing God, and therefore they should be accosted and be made to answer. Now, the courts are there. If the Department of Justice had done its job, they would have filed the right case. And I'll tell you something, they would have been hard put to get a witness, but let the court handle that. It should not be the executive. Why should the president be forced to take up waste his political capital when his Secretary of Justice should have been the one to do all these things in terms of filing the case along with the police?
Senator, what do you make of the explanation of the PNP when they say that they just needed to put Superintendent Marvin Marcos back on duty, and that since there was since he could post bail, and then therefore there is no other, and there is no administrative case now, there is no other, kumbaga wala nang balakid para siya'y mabigyan ng ibang pwesto?
That's because from the very beginning, I'd imagine they planned it. The Secretary of Justice probably told them, o bigyan nyo na lang yung mas mababa, i-dismiss nyo, para suspended na lang yung mga yan. And then I can say there was no evidence for murder. There is just homicide, which allowed them to be bailed. And under the rules, so long as they have not been convicted, they can still do their duty. So what a travesty, what a sham. Nakakahiya.
Senator Dick Gordon, thank you very much for joining us.
Sir, yung hearing na may cover up?
Well, apparently meron, kasi kita natin pati yung mga circular medyo nagkakabangga-banggaan dahil meron hindi nasunod. So let's find out. We're thinking of conducting another hearing, that's why nag-suspend lang kami. And baka may mga members pa ng committee na gusto rin magtanong na hindi, they could not make it today. So yun, but initially I think meron ngang gano'n. You can say that.
Cover up guys, sinong kino-cover up?
No. Sino ba nakinabang dito? Di ba si Marcos?
Pero why don't you cover up for pretending investigating for the...
Well, we don't know. No? We can only speculate. But apparently, meron talagang hindi sinasabi. At kailangang ma-ferret out pa natin. Maybe when we secure additional documents or issuances, or possibly we can secure other or hear from other source persons.
Sir, frat brother ni President Duterte, si Jose.
Yeah.
What do you make
Karamihan
of that?
sa kanila actually.
Okay, sir, but the President has been vocal about supporting Marcos. Tapos siya
Yung pa nga isa, and then yun nga, very loud yung signal, and then ganito yung nangyari. So we have all the reason to suspect na parang kinakadel masyado si Marcos dito. And yun nga, kaya tinanong ko, ang posisyon ng regional director ng CIDG sa SOC Sergeant carries the rank of a senior superintendent. So, ang malaki possibility na after 6 months, which is the required residency period, pwede siya ma-promote pa ng senior superintendent. Because according to Napolcom, pati yung iba, of course, na-demote yung iba. And meron pa rin silang appeal, meron pa silang motion for reconsideration na pwede pang mawala yung demotion at saka yung suspension ng iba. Remember, hindi pa rin pala nakapag-serve ng suspension yung respondents.
Sir, yung picture, nakokonektan na masyado si Marcos?
Well, I really don't know. We can only speculate kasi hindi naman tayo privy doon sa mga pag-uusap nila. But remember, he was reinstated as Leyte or as Region 8 CIDG Director after he was relieved for cause ni Chief NP De La Rosa dahil he was suspected of involvement do sa drug operation ni Albuera Mayor Espinosa. Di ba ganun ang istorya? And then when he was reinstated, nangyari naman yung pagpatay sa jail. And ngayon, dahil meron nang kaso, na-downgrade sa homicide, and nagkaroon pa ng assignment na ang PO position for senior superintendent. So, kayo na lang mag-conclude.
Yung promotion, is that an automatic process or somebody has to apply for it?
Well, if he is not disqualified, then he will be qualified for promotion.
Na-apply niya ba yan? Or kailangan talaga sa position?
Hindi, position. Entry ang position na yan for senior superintendent, as Chief NP mentioned earlier. Kasi nga, andyan siya sa position. You cannot be promoted kung ang position mo does not carry the rank of a senior superintendent. But in this case,
hindi niya deserve doon.
kaya nga we're trying to elicit information from Jan De La Rosa kung ano yung magandang gawin sa situation. That's why the reason why I mentioned that is really to preempt, kung ano man yung pinaplano nila, because nando na, nasa entry na eh. Kung binigyan na ng entry point para ma-promote. Ngayon, at least I made them conscious na nakabantay pa rin yung Senate, hindi ba?
So,
Na,
dapat maliwanag sa Nangyari dahil sa possible cover-up. So, makatawag ba dito sa sir?
Well, next hearing, probably.
Sir, natanggap pa yung sinasabi ni Mato na kaya niya na-reinstate yung gusto ng Pangulo. It's just vague.
Hindi naman. Hindi niya sinabing direct, wala naman directamenting order, but parang he picked up from the media pronouncements of the President. That's what I understood nung sa kanyang testimony. Malilate ako sa No, he acted outside of the yung authority ng as spelled out was sa circular, sa department circular. So we're now trying to question kung pwede pa bang ma-assign yung kanyang ginawang resolution to review. But you know, it's almost impossible na ma-upgrade uli yung case from homicide to murder simply because na-array na yung tao. And it will be a violation of his rights, their rights, kung i-withdraw pa information and then i-file this matter. Kasi nga, array na.
Sir, as an officer, pwede ba yun yung you just glean from the commander-in-chief? Yung intention niya, walang explicit.
I don't know. Hindi ko rin maintindihan kung anong buong senaryo nito. So, but we can find it.
Thanks, sir.
Dito na lang.